For as long as I've watched sports, the real sports. We don't watch no baseball and hockey and stuff. But for as long as I've watched sports, I've seen a lot of tough players. Like just in the 2010s alone, we had LeBron, Curry, KD, Harden, Kyrie, Russ, and a lot more elite players in the NBA. And in the NFL, we watched Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Gronk, Adrian Peterson, and a lot more. Bro, we even watched Tom Brady become the GOAT of football and win 7 chips. But it's not only about the wins and losses. It's about the things that they bring to the game. Whether it's a last-second shot or a game-winning touchdown, there are generations GOATs. But if I made a video about making the best sports player, it would get pretty boring. So you know what? I'm gonna make a video about making the worst sports player. I wanted to use things that are used in all sports. So I picked 7 categories that we're gonna use: build, athleticism, diet, mentality, skills, durability, and contract. For each category, I'm finna connect a player from either the NFL or the NBA that fitted the worst. But if y'all mess with this video, I could make the best sports player. Anyways, let's just get into it. This category is a little zesty to talk about. Talking about other people's builds is crazy. But let's just get this over with. There's a few things that you have to be the worst sports player. Like you can't be at an average height. Players like Megatron, LeBron, or Giannis wouldn't be in here, for example. Low-key, being super tall would be bad. But I still think that being super tall is way better than being super short. So I got a few players that fit the description. First off, we got Muggsy Bogues. He's 5'3" and 137 pounds. He made it work for him, but give basically anyone else's build and they're not making it in any league. Next, we got Deuce Vaughn. He's about 5'5" and 176 pounds. He's a bit more taller and like 40 pounds heavier than Muggsy Bogues. But still, his build isn't something that you would want if you're trying to play a professional sport. And lastly, we got Isaiah Thomas. He's the average height for males in the world. But that ain't nothing if we're talking about the average sports height. But IT's build is bad as well. I think I'm gonna stick with Muggsy Bogues' build though. So to start off, our player is gonna be 5'3" and 137 pounds. Alright, next up we got athleticism. This is kind of linked with the build. Every sport has had a crazy amount of players with bounce. Unless you're some crazy skilled player that's elite at everything, you pretty much need to be super athletic. Honestly, if I'm being real, just picking a player off of athleticism is super broad. But I don't feel like splitting athleticism into smaller sections, so I'm gonna just pick someone. I got 2 options for the least athletic sports player. The first is Aaron Gibson, the fattest NFL player in history. He weighed 410 pounds. And that's not even it. Bro already weighed 350 in high school. But it's either him or Jokic. If I'm being real, I'm only saying Jokic because he really can't dunk like that. And he be drinking straight beers. But Jokic isn't nearly as bad as Big Boy over here. So I'm gonna pick this guy's athleticism. Talking about chugging beers, we got diet next. To become a really good player in any sport, you need to eat right. But we're not making the best player, we're making the worst player. So who has the worst diet? You know what, bro? Why am I even asking this? It's easily DK Metcalf. Bro, he's literally admitted to eating straight bags of candy and drinking coffee. And it's low-key crazy because he's still super built. But it's definitely DK. Alright, next thing we got is mentality. Having a good mentality is something that can really separate a good player from a great player. And there's a lot of NBA players that have great mentality. But that's not what we're here for. Wait, why am I even talking about NBA players? Bro, I almost forgot about CTE. Just by seeing how Antonio Brown acts after this play shows that he's a perfect player for this job. We got Antonio Brown for mentality. Next up, we got skills. This one might be the hardest, I'm not gonna cap. I already got 2 options off the top of my head. Anthony Bennett or Thanasis. I didn't know who to pick, so guess what I did? I made a poll and y'all chose Anthony Bennett. So it looks like our player is going to have the skill of the biggest bust in NBA history. For durability, I'm mainly going to be talking about 2 things. How much injuries the player had and how bad the injuries were. And there's really only one player that's meant for this. I'm pretty sure all y'all know who Derrick Rose is. But if you don't know, he was the #1 pick in the 2008 NBA draft. And he became the youngest MVP at 22 years old. But after that, he had a couple season-ending and major injuries. He tore his ACL, had 2 meniscus tears, and multiple knee surgeries. If that's not the worst durability about any sports player, I don't know what is. So I'm choosing Derrick Rose for our player's durability. Our second to last category to make the worst sports player is clutch. It's really easy to know who the most clutch player is. It'll be all over social media and then people will know that player as clutch. But it's a little harder to know who the chokers are. But I'm not like everyone else, I got 2 options. First up, we got Tony Romo. He's a great quarterback and started on the Cowboys for a lot of seasons. But bro, this guy choked so hard. In the 2006 playoffs, Tony Romo fumbled the snap and basically lost the game for the Cowboys. It's either him or Blair Walsh. Bro, I honestly don't know how bro choked this. He was a good kicker for the Vikings, but against the Seahawks in the 2016 NFC wildcard game, he had a field goal to win the game. but he blew it and the Vikings got eliminated. This one is close, but I'll have to go with the Vikings kicker. Bro, all kickers gotta do is kick the ball and he's still sold. And for the last category, we got contract. I'm gonna keep this short and simple. It's just the worst contract in sports. There are a lot of bad contracts in the NFL and NBA, so it's hard to pick. Like Bull's cousin Luol Deng got paid $72 million at 33, and he only played 1 year before getting benched and cut. But my English teacher Chandler Parsons got a worse contract. He actually got paid 4 years, $94 million in 2016 by Memphis. But he got a lot of injuries which made him actually retire early. So yeah, we're gonna go with his contract. So yeah, our player is finished. Let's just go over everything one more time. He has the build of Muggsy Bogues, the athleticism of Aaron Gibson, the diet of DK Metcalf, the mentality of Antonio Brown, the skills of Anthony Bennett, the durability of Derrick Rose, the clutchness of Blair Walsh, and the contract of Chandler Parsons. Yeah, this guy is definitely the worst player to ever play a sport. But if you think you can make a worse player, put it in the comments below. And also sub, we're 100 away from 1,000 subs.